Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Kami ucapkan terima kasih dan selamat datang kepada yang terhormat Ibu Norshamshina Mat Isa, as Collaborative Teaching UiTM Campus Perlis Lead Assessor and Representative. Yang terhormat Bapak Sambas Ade Kusuma, PhD AKUCA, merupakan dosen S1 akuntansi serta sebagai moderator kita pada pagi hari ini. Yang terhormat kepada Ibu Dr. Rina Bukit SMSI AKCA sebagai Ketua Program Studi S1 Akuntansi dan kepada Ibu Risanti SEMSI AK sebagai Sekretaris Program Studi S1 Akuntansi. Dan kami ucapkan selamat datang kepada seluruh hadirin dalam acara ProAksi Talks Series 15 dengan tema Optimizing Financial Management in Small and Medium Business, Addressing Key Issues. Kegiatan ini merupakan salah satu dari rangkaian kegiatan program studi S1 Akuntansi Universitas Sumatera Utara. Sekaligus merupakan wujud pencapaian indikator kinerja utama program pada perguruan tinggi. Perkenalkan, saya Mayhana Bilkis Rangkuti sebagai MC yang akan memandu acara hari ini sampai akhir acara. Untuk agenda pertama, kita akan memasuki agenda untuk mendengarkan lagu kewajiban, lagu wajib kebangsaan Indonesia Raya. Kepada para seluruh hadirin dipersilahkan untuk dapat mengaktifkan kamera dan berdiri. Baik, untuk agenda selanjutnya adalah pembacaan kata sambutan oleh Sekretaris Program Studi S1 Akuntansi yang disampaikan oleh Ibu Risanti SEMSIAK. Kepada Ibu Risanti, kami persilahkan.
Terima kasih Bu Mayhana. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Yang saya hormati pada pagi hari ini guest lecture kita, narasumber kita Ibu Dr. Norshamshina Mat Isa. Terima kasih Ibu sudah bersedia memenuhi jemputan kami pada pagi hari ini. Yang saya hormati juga seluruh staf pengajar program studi akuntansi yang hadir pada webinar pada hari ini, juga seluruh mahasiswa-mahasiswi program studi akuntansi yang saya sayangi. Sangat senang sekali pada pagi hari ini kita sudah memasuki webinar series ke-15 yang insya Allah materi pada pagi hari ini tidak kalah menariknya dengan materi-materi sebelumnya. Saya sangat berharap semua yang disampaikan pada pagi hari ini akan memberi banyak manfaat untuk kita semua. Jadi mahasiswa jangan lengah, butuh perhatian khusus ya. Karena sifatnya melalui media Zoom, bukan artinya kalian tidak menyimak semuanya. Peraturan kita seperti biasa, silahkan open cam-nya ya. Sekali lagi terima kasih Ibu Dr. Norshamshina binti Mat Isa. Terima kasih sudah memenuhi jemputan kami. Insya Allah kita akan mendapatkan banyak manfaat dari kegiatan pada pagi hari ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Agenda selanjutnya adalah pembacaan doa yang disampaikan oleh Saudara Dede Riansyah kepada Saudara Dede Riansyah. Kami persilahkan.
Ibu, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apakah suara saya bisa terdengar dengan jelas, Ibu?
Jelas
Oke,
kedengaran.
baik. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Hadirin yang berbahagia. Marilah kita bersama-sama berdoa dengan khusyuk menurut agama dan kepercayaan kita masing-masing, agar acara webinar kita pada hari ini berjalan dengan lancar, dan izinkan saya untuk memandunya sesuai dengan tuntunan dan ajaran agama Islam. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuwafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karimi wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma ya Allah, tiada kata dan rasa yang pantas kami haturkan selain rasa syukur kami padamu atas segala rahmat, nikmat dan hidayah yang Engkau anugerahkan kepada kami, sehingga kami bisa berhadir bersama untuk melaksanakan acara webinar pada hari ini, ya Allah. Ya Allah, ya Rabb, Engkau maha mengetahui terhadap kelemahan-kelemahan kami, terhadap kekurangan-kekurangan kami. Maka dari itu janganlah Engkau sesatkan kami sesudah kami mendapatkan petunjuk dari-Mu, ya Allah. Berikanlah kami karunia-Mu, berkah dan rezeki, umur, serta kegiatan kami pada hari ini. Ya Allah, Tuhan yang Maha Pengampun, ampunilah dosa-dosa kami, dosa kedua orang tua kami, dosa guru-guru kami, dosa saudara-saudara kami, serta dosa orang-orang yang kami sayangi. Hanya kepadamu lah kami menyembah, dan hanya kepadamu lah kami mohon ampunan, ya Allah. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Agenda selanjutnya adalah pemaparan materi oleh Ibu Norshamshina Mat Isa yang akan dipandu oleh moderator acara kita pada pagi hari ini oleh Bapak Sambat Ade Kusuma PhD AKCA. Kepada Bapak kami persilahkan.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Maihana. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk semua para peserta dan seluruh yang hadir di majelis webinar kita hari ini. Alhamdulillahillazi hadana lihaza wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah. Allahumma shalli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina wa habibina wa syafi'ina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah. Yang terhormat Ibu Ketua Prodi S1 Akuntansi FEB USU dan Ibu Sek Prodi Prodi Akuntansi S1. Kemudian Bapak Ibu dosen yang hadir pada hari ini ada Bu Yuni, ada Pak Dio, ada Bu Fauzia, ada siapa lagi nih ya. Mohon maaf kalau tidak sempat satu-satu saya sebutkan namanya. Dan juga terutama terima kasih kepada Dr. Norshamshina Mat Isa yang telah hadir pada hari ini. Ya, saya biasa panggil Dr. Sina. Ya, sebelum saya memulai sesi utama kita hari ini, izinkan saya mengucapkan selamat tahniah, syabas kepada Dr. Sina yang telah berhasil dengan sukses mendapatkan gelar PhD-nya.
Terima kasih.
Alhamdulillah semoga menjadi berkah dan bisa menjadikan memberikan jalan keberkahan kepada ilmu ini semua.
Amin.
Amin insyaallah. Seperti biasa sesuai SOP. Kalau nggak dibacakan ini Bu Maihana nanti marah nih, Bu Risanti suka marah nih. Soalnya kalau saya moderator suka kelupaan dokter membacakan CV.
Tahu.
Suka terlupa. Baik. Kalau membacakan CV Dr. Sina ini saya ini saya thrill ya. I'm thrilled because actually your reputation precedes you, doctor. You have a lot of work, a lot of reputation, a lot of well, a lot of achievement. Dr. Sina, she is a senior lecturer dari Universitas Teknologi Mara Perlis branch Arau Campus. Ini salah satu daerah favorit saya di utara Malaysia. Biasa di sini saya suka wisata kuliner. Dr. Sina memperoleh PhD di keuangan, di bidang keuangan di School of Economic Finance and Banking University Utara Malaysia. Kemudian memperoleh gelar Master of Science di bidang finance juga di UiTM juga. Kemudian beliau memperoleh BBA, gelar BBA dari University Teknologi Mara. Kemudian mendapatkan diploma di bidang investment analysis juga di University Teknologi Mara. Dr. Sina juga banyak sekali memperoleh certification ya, terutama untuk skill development mulai dari Adobe Creative Educator level 1 to Adobe Associate ACA, kemudian Distance Learning Expert. Nah, ini kalau kita nak belajar distance learning, kita belajar dengan Dr. Sina nih. Kemudian teaching experience-nya juga luar biasa. Ini banyak sekali yang tak mungkin saya bacakan satu-satu karena luar biasa sekali. Kemudian yang menarik juga Dr. Sina ini sering sekali mendapatkan medali emas di dalam proyek-proyek beliau. Kemudian juga Dr. Sina aktif di dalam riset terutama mengenai ini ya dokter ya, mengenai learning behavior dokter ya. Nah, ini luar biasa. Saya juga insya Allah akan belajar kembali ini dengan dokter karena kita juga akan, kalau di akuntansi ini kan banyak sekali berhubungan dengan behavior. Baik, itu yang dapat saya sampaikan untuk sisi Dr. Sina. Baik, untuk mempersingkat waktu, kami persilahkan kepada Dr. Sina untuk menyampaikan materi webinar kita hari ini mengenai Optimizing Financial Management in Small and Medium Business. Kemudian juga beliau akan mengadres key issue, karena Dr. Sina ini juga proyek-proyek beliau terakhir ini banyak sekali terlibat di dalam program-program atau proyek-proyek di SMIS ya. Mungkin di sini juga nanti insya Allah Dr. Sina juga akan jadi key speaker kita juga untuk nanti insya Allah di program-program pengembangan kewirausahaan dan small medium and business di Medan insya Allah. Baik dokter silakan.
Oke, terima kasih Dokter Tuan Moderator kita pagi ini, Dr. Sambas. So tak berpeluang untuk berjumpa dengan Puan Moderator hari ini kerana ada tugas lain ya. Terima kasih kepada pengerusi majlis MC kita Bu Maihana Bilkis, Assalamualaikum semua, salam sejahtera. Terima kasih kepada Bu Ketua Ketua apa ya? Ketua Prodi ya, Ketua kalau di sana dipanggil apa?
Ya, program studi, Dokter.
Ketua program studi dan dosen-dosen yang adalah saya tak kenal yang mana satu, saya hanya kenal Dr. Sambas dan Bu Risanti saja so far.
Ya.
Mohon maaf jika tak dapat address rakan-rakan dosen yang lain. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera sekali lagi kepada semua yang hadir, anak-anak murid. Saya suka panggil anak-anak murid. Um, Terasa seperti ibu-ibu. Jadi bila dalam kelas memang saya suka
Ya,
suka
ya.
melayan
Boleh, boleh, Dokter. Boleh.
murid-murid sebagai anak-anak. So saya diberitahu bahawa di dalam sesi ini ada pelajar undergraduates undergraduates, ada postgrad iaitu master student yang mungkin hadir pada hari ini untuk mendapatkan mungkin idea untuk menjalankan projek FYP ataupun projek mini thesis atau dissertation. Jadi untuk sesi pagi ini saya lebih kepada nak berkongsi sharing session, berkongsi apa yang ada, apa ilmu sedikit inilah berkongsi bersama setakat saya berpengalaman handle atau berurusan dengan atau memberi konsultansi kepada syarikat-syarikat kecil. Dan saya izinkan saya untuk share saya punya PowerPoint screen. Boleh ya?
Silakan, Dokter, silakan.
Okey. Nampak tak skrin?
Nampak, nampak.
Boleh nampak
Nampak.
Okay. So nampak yang mana ya? Nampak okey ke? Skrin penuh ke? Ke ada nampak nota ke apa
Ini
ke?
nota, Dokter.
Nampak nota?
Nampak nota.
Okey, sekejap ya. Sekejap saya adjust balik. Sekejap ya. So nampak yang mana ya?
Masih nota, Dokter.
Masih nota juga. Sekejap ya.
Itu sekejap. Di
Aha.
ininya, Dokter.
Ya.
Di slideshow itu,
Aha.
di tab slideshow itu, boleh
Okey.
klik, Dokter.
Okey, saya sudah klik.
Bukan yang
Saya
ini.
stop sharing dulu.
Stop. Di tab slideshow tadi, itu ada ini, apa namanya, terus ini Dokter pakai dual monitor.
Dua monitor.
Dual monitor. Balikkan saja, Dokter. Yang PowerPoint sebelah kanan.
Okey, jadi
Aku
saya buat
sebelah kiri.
PowerPoint. Okey.
Di drag aja, Dokter.
Alright. Sekejap ya. Atau mungkin di sana saja share.
Boleh, boleh dokter, boleh di-share
Okey,
pada
saya
saya, nanti
sharekan
saya
slide ya.
yang akan bukakan.
Okey. Yang hantar melalui WhatsApp ya, Doktor?
Boleh, boleh.
Okey, saya dah hantar.
Oke, sekejap saya download sekejap. Oke. Ya, sila dokter.
Okey, mohon maaf kerana ada
Sama.
baru beli skrin ni sebenarnya. Itu yang sekejap ya.
Dia kena pakai mode dual monitor di
Ya, ya, terus.
dekat PowerPoint dokter.
Okay, alright. So tajuk kita, our topic for today's session, or I consider today's session is a sharing session that basically I'll gonna share my small knowledge and experience to everyone, to all the attendees today. And izinkan saya juga to use two languages, bahasa Inggeris dan juga bahasa Melayu.
Boleh.
Okay, so the topic today is optimizing financial management in small and medium businesses. Walaupun even though the topic is about small and medium businesses, but actually during the discussion, during the presentation, I may also share some knowledge about micro business. Okay, micro business. So what I am going to share with you is about focusing on the financial management relating to small and medium businesses. So we go to the next slide, Doctor.
Yang mana dokter ini?
Slide yang kedua, outline.
Sekejap. Macet di sini. Ini. Slide nomor berapa dokter?
Slide nombor 2.
Nomor 2.
Outline.
Outline tak ada dokter. Ini. Hanya
Tak
ini
apa,
saja.
tak apa. Selepas slide yang depan tu, okay, no problem. Tak apa, go. Kita ke introduction dulu, tak apa. Go.
Okay.
So, actually, I have 4 outlines that I'm going to present today for you that about the background of the SME, the importance of financial management, optimizing financial management, and key issues and challenges. But before we go to discussing further about the SME, as I mentioned that I'm going to share today is about financial management. Next slide, Doctor. Okay, so I want all of you to usually I'm not only teaching in here, I'm not only teaching finance students, I also teach accounting student, I also teach science student, and they usually get confused with finance and accounting. So they usually mix up with finance and accounting. And I think most people mix up with the terms of finance and accounting because when they work, usually finance in the department, setengah tu disebut finance department, setengah disebut account department, tapi buat kerja yang sama. But actually finance and accounting tu kalau kita tengok lagi dari segi relationship tu dia seumpama complement, okay, complement to each other, because accounting doing controlling activity while finance doing treasury activity. So let us understand first what finance and financial management is. So the finance is about the science of management of money and other assets. And basically there are three areas of finance. It is about personal finance. We have public finance, that like accounting, we have public accounting. And then we go for the corporate finance. The corporate finance, when we talk about corporate finance, it is not only about large company. So the word corporate finance is more on either a large company or small and medium company. So what we are going to look today is about how we manage all the financial matters of corporate company or corporate finance. Yeah. Okay, next slide, Doctor. All right, so as I said, the finance and financial management. Finance is actually, as I said, the art of managing money, okay, and asset. So when the art of managing, we talk about art of managing money, it is revolve around managing the issue of investing, borrowings, lending, talking about budgeting, savings, and doing forecasting. So those are the activities that usually financial management or finance people do. And then, as I said, the financial management is actually the practice of handling companies' finances in a way allows the company to be successful. And then what I'm going to explain to you today, or share with you today, is about obtaining, allocating financial resources so that can help the company to achieve firm's objective. And what actually financial management usually done by financial manager, okay, forecast the function of financial manager. As we know, the financial manager will do financial forecasting and planning, investment and financing decision, controlling and coordinating, and dealing with financial markets as well as financial institution in getting the fund. Okay. But if we talk about financial manager, if large company, no problem, because they will have their own finance manager. But the main problem that usually I found during my activity dealing with small or micro business, usually dialah owner, dialah juga pengurus keuangan. Okay, and some of them don't have any qualification relating to financial matters. So that's why most of the activity of managing money is not really good. So what we are actually from the university trying to do is to help them to ensure that those who are lack of financial knowledge is actually dibantu bagaimana untuk menguruskan keuangan yang betul. Alright, let's go to the next slide, Doctor. Alright, so tak apa, saya ulang slide yang sama sebenarnya. That's why apa yang kita nak tengok hari ini, as I said, we have three areas of finance. So I'm not going to talk about personal finance or public finance. We only go for the corporate finance. But the corporate finance for today's session is not about a large company. We're talking about small and medium company. Tapi saya juga akan selit-selit jugalah. I will also share with you about the micro business financial management. And then let's go to the next slide, Doctor. Okay, so as I said, this is the outline for of my presentation today. We will go for the background of SME in Malaysia. Alright, I'm going to explain to you about the background of SME in Malaysia. So adik-adik, anak-anak, rakan-rakan boleh sambil saya explain tentang Malaysia, mungkin boleh you can imagine atau bayangkan ataupun sambil buat perbandingan SME in Malaysia and Indonesia. Okay, right. So the first point today is about the background of SME in Malaysia, and the second one is the importance of financial management. The third one is optimizing financial management, and last one will go for the key issues and challenges. All right, so let's go to the next slide, Dr. Background of SME in Malaysia. So next. All right, so in Malaysia, when I look at the SME in Indonesia, basically, in Indonesia they define the SME in terms of, if I'm not mistaken, based on the right.
Betul.
So in Malaysia, we define the SME based on sales turnover, sama, and also we define in terms of number of employees. Ada bezanya satulah, the sales turnover sama, but the next point is we define the SME in terms of number of employees. So when the number of employees, so we have medium, small and micro. So kalau tengok di sini, for the medium, we have actually split into two definition. We split into two sectors of SME. If manufacturing to be considered as a medium business, the SME should have actually the sales turnover for the company for manufacturing sector is not exceeding 50 million ringgit, or number of full-time employees not exceeding 200. While for the service and other sector, kurang sedikit, okay? The sales turnover should not more than 20 million ringgit, and then or number of full-time employees not exceeding 75. And for the small company, small business, next slide, Doctor. All right. So for the small company, we have the sales turnover will be categorized. The company that considered as a small business is the company that having sales turnover less than 15 million ringgit, or number of employees start from 5 employees to up to, or not more than 75, yeah, not more than 75, 5 to less than 75. While for the service sector, SME should be defined as the company that having sales turnover not more than 3 million ringgit, or the number of employees between 5 to 29, okay, 5 to 29, that means not more than 30. For the micro, next slide, Doctor. So for the micro, the definition for both sectors actually the same, whereby the company should have actually the sales turnover for the company is not more than 300,000 ringgit, or number of employees, full-time employees, not more than 5. And all the SMEs in Malaysia must be the company that actually registered with SSM. So SSM, or Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia, or in English, Companies Commission of Malaysia, actually is the government body that in charge or govern the activity of or registration for SME in Malaysia. And for those who registered in SSM, should actually submit their financial reports to SSM every it's not similar to large company. So in Malaysia, for students and student or researcher in Malaysia, for those who wants to pursue or do research that using financial data relating to SME, they can get the data from the Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia SSM, but they need to buy actually. Okay, so the cost to buy to have the data is quite expensive. So that's why hopefully for those who wants to do research that relates the using of financial data, try to get the grant first, the research grant first. But ia tidak mengekang daripada kita buat research juga dalam bidang SME. So ni sambil-sambil saya cerita, saya boleh share juga sekali terus lah ya tentang nak buat research ni untuk anak-anak untuk future researcher ataupun anak-anak pelajar-pelajar masters. Kalau nak buat maybe nak compare, if you want to compare the performance or whatsoever between SME in Indonesia and Malaysia, those who wants to do as I said, needs to have grant. But kalau you tak nak, if you don't have the grants, maybe you can go for look for the perception. So that's why ada gap dekat sini. Kalau kita tengok research dekat Malaysia ni, research relating to SME banyaknya kalau kajian or the research relating to financial performance whatsoever, those who have money, they can buy the data. For those who don't have money, maybe they can go for just sending the questionnaire to the company and answer the question, the proxy question that relates to the performance. All right. So we go to the next slide, Doctor. Importance of financial management. Okay, so we go to the importance of financial management. As I said, the financial management is actually the one or the managing of the company's money. Okay, why we need to manage the company's money? It is actually to ensure that the company can grow and sustain, be competitive. Okay. So to sustain, to grow and sustain and be competitive, effective financial management for SME is needed in achieving their growth and sustainability objective. So to be an effective financial management, for today's session, I will discuss, I just choose the selected points, even though actually ada banyak, there are so many things that we can discuss relating to financial management of SME. Cuma kalau ikutnya panjang lah nak bercerita sampai ke petang, boleh sebenarnya kalau nak sembang tentang SME business finance ni sebenarnya. But I just choose the topic that actually yang general, yang semua orang boleh yang boleh di mana, even in Indonesia or Malaysia will face the same issue that relates to financial management of the SME. So the points that I will discuss to you today is about, next slide, Doctor. The importance of financial management. So what we're going to discuss today is about resource allocation, decision-making support, cash flow management, access to capital, and performance monitoring. Jadi, if you go and read, okay, books or web or blogs or any sources that relates to the issue of financial management, these are the topics that always revolves around, that always discussed by bloggers or by or our government also stress on this point, because inilah masalah sebenar yang selalu dihadapi oleh by the SME. Okay, so the key points that I'm going to highlight is, as I said, resource allocation, decision making, cash flow, access to capital, and performance monitoring. All right, so let's go to the next slide, Doctor. In a company, actually, tadi saya dah sebutkan, I just mentioned to you that the task of financial, or the job of financial management in business should be done by the finance manager. And when we talk about finance manager, for large company, we won't have any problem because they have money to hire finance, those who qualified, educated and experienced to manage the company's financial matters. But apa yang based on my own experience that I look at the small businesses and some micro business, manalah dia orang nak ambil to hire the finance manager to work with them. So basically the financial matters in mungkin sama di Indonesia juga, the financial matters in micro and small business managed by the owner of the company itself. Okay, so the owner of the company, if they have the knowledge of other background finance or accounting knowledge, should be no problem. Tapi apa yang menjadi masalahnya, but the main problem is there are many owners, business owner don't have the financial knowledge. So bila tak ada financial knowledge tu, when they manage the company's money, they just take care about the revenue, duit masuk banyak mana and duit keluar banyak mana. The other thing that the issue of financial management tu, let's say they have money, what they're going to do with the money tu, dia orang sebenarnya kalau tengok dari pengalaman saya lah, memang ada masalah. Dia orang ada duit, dia orang allocate saja tanpa fikir, without thinking of is that the right way for the company allocate the money. So dia orang tak faham bahawa they don't understand that the financial management actually allows SME to allocate their limited resources efficiently. And then they also don't, most of the company bila buat keputusan, kadang-kadang buat keputusan decision making, tak buat keputusan secara systematic. Usually when they want to buy machine or to open new branches whatsoever, they just, kalau nak beli machine tu, they just make the decision based on brand, based on the whether maintenance cost is high or not, whether without taking care about is that walaupun sometimes bila kita nak buat keputusan, if you want to make the decision to buy a machine, kalau costnya mahal untuk maintenance mahal pun, tapi kalau dia ada value yang tertentu, so kita boleh buat keputusan. Jadi sebenarnya because of the lack of knowledge of making a decision tu yang ada masalah dalam perniagaan micro and small business. So by doing effective, by having effective actually financial management, supposedly this activity should give data or give insight for decision making to all the businesses. So yang ini yang apa yang berlaku bila we all keluar dan keluar jumpa small business, yang ini yang kita orang cuba highlight, bahawa kena untuk buat sesuatu perkara untuk dalam urusan keuangan, kena ada systematic way, nak buat keputusan, kena ada data. Jadi bila nak tengok data pun masalah juga data, financial recordnya tak ada. So bila financial recordnya tak ada, susahlah nak buat keputusan. Dah buat keputusan, tak ada duit pula untuk untuk jalankan projek. Nak dapatkan duit untuk jalankan projek, nak kena submit documentation, patah balik documentation pula tak lengkap. Itu yang masalah tu. Okay, alright, so we go to the next slide. Cash flow management. So cash flow management effective in small business, effective financial management is very important because it ensures proper cash flow management, which is actually vital for day-to-day operation of SMEs. By monitoring cash inflows and outflow of business, SME can avoid liquidity problem, financial obligations, and grab the growth opportunity when it arise. Yang ini pun ada masalah ni sebenarnya. Nak uruskan keuangan, tak pandai pula nak ada masalah dari segi forecasting, because untuk uruskan duit ni sebenarnya bukannya isu kena ada duit saja, kena pandai juga untuk forecast bila keadaan syarikat akan berlaku shortage of cash, So yang ini memang masalah untuk buat. Jadi mungkin pelajar-pelajar bila saya sebut masalah-masalah yang inilah yang sebab selalunya kalau kita nak buat research ni, when we want to do a research, usually people will ask you, so why you want to do this research? What's the problem? Jadi nak tahu masalah, you kena banyak membaca ataupun kena ada pengalaman. Jadi mungkin apa yang saya cerita ni, yang saya sebut masalah inilah point yang mana you boleh take note masalah-masalah ini sebagai point yang mana boleh mencetuskan that can trigger the idea for your future study. Okay? Alright, so we go to the next point, Doktor. Alright, another problem. Tadi saya ada sebut lah yang pertama tadi, resource allocation, tak ada knowledge tentang, maksudnya when they want to, when they have money, they unable to allocate the money properly because tak ada ilmu. Bagi yang ada ilmu tu alhamdulillah lah. Bagi yang tak ada tu mungkin dia akan buat ikut hati. Jadi tu yang masalah tu. Dapat duit buat pinjaman banyak-banyak juta-juta, guna duit tu untuk buat perkara-perkara lain. So yang tak naklah sebut kat sini kan, mungkin hujung-hujung nanti kita sebut perkara-perkara apa. Jadi resource allocation, duit yang ada tu allocate-nya tak betul, and then poor recording. Jadi bila poor recording, data tak ada, so nak buat decision making masalah, sebab kita nak buat keputusan usually kita akan buat based on data, and then bila ada masalah keuangan, of course kita kalau shortage of money, kita nak cari sumber duit lah kan. So when we want to get the capital or financial sources from outside, let's say from the bank or any agencies, masalahnya sekarang ni tak ada duit lah. Okay, tak ada duit untuk, tak ada peluang, okay, unable to get unable to secure external funding because usually company ni dia ada masalah dari segi bila tak manage duit betul-betul, dia akan affect profitability, and then bila affect profitability, ada masalah lain juga, iaitu tak boleh nak bayar, cannot meet the payment or short-term obligation, and then problem in compliance or reporting records. So bila ada masalah yang itulah yang menyebabkan access to capital ni susah untuk dapat. Jadi sepatutnya well managed, supposedly well managed finances improve. Supposedly, well-managed finances improve SMEs' chances of securing external fundings, because usually lenders and investors are more likely to support business that demonstrate strong financial practices, that can show a good or accurate financial records, profitability, a good profitability, and that can show solid repayment plan. Alright. So next slide, Doctor. And by conducting a good financial management, it will enables the SME to monitor their financial performance regularly. So by analyzing, by applying a good financial management, so usually the company can evaluate their own performance, their own financial health, and then in a good way. However, to be effective, usually bukan setakat ada financial report and then kira sahaja, look at the financial health, calculate the ratio. They also needs to monitor the company's performance, or to do timely adjustment, buat correction, apa masalah yang ada. Itulah yang sepatutnya lah. Tapi yang berlaku sekarang ni, yang berdasarkan pengalaman lah, apa yang berlaku ialah what was happening is the company just prepare the financial statement for the sake of fulfill the requirement set up by the SSM to fulfill the reporting activity. but they don't. Most of the company reluctant or feel or lack of activity of monitoring their own performance. All right, so we go to the next slide, Doctor. So what the point that I mentioned before, the point that I mentioned, ada orang nak masuk, Doctor. So the point that I mentioned in the previous slide shows that effective financial management is very important, as it will enable the SME to monitor their financial performance regularly, and then it provides the foundation for them to make an informed decision making, resource optimization, ability to access the capital, and so that can support their own long-term strategy to success in their business. Okay, so far ada soalan tak?
Apa nanti, Dokter, nanti kita akan buat Q&A selepas
Di ujung ya? Okay.
ujung, Dokter.
Okay. Alright, sudah terbiasa. Usually during my class, saya memang allow my students to interrupt during my lecture. So boleh je potong di mana-mana kalau nak tanya. Okay, so we go to kalau tak ada, kalau kita nak tunggu ke hujungnya, mungkin kita boleh ke point yang ketiga lah. Optimizing Financial Management. So for the third point, to optimize, okay, to optimize the benefit of conducting a good financial management. So for today's session, I will discuss based on these 6 points, which are efficient budgeting and forecasting. How to ensure that how to have an efficient budgeting and forecasting. I'm going to talk about efficient cash flow management, financial analysis and performance measurement, access to capital and financial option, and then leveraging technology and financial tools, and to optimize financial management, of course, kita tak boleh lepas daripada point ini ya, financial education and expertise. So the next coming slide are all the points that basically apa yang saya share adalah berdasarkan pengalaman lah, to optimize the financial management, to optimize all the efficiency of financial management in SME. So we go to the next slide, Doctor. So next slide is efficient budgeting and forecasting, Doctor. Rasanya sebelum itu, before this slide.
Ini.
Yeah, true. So to optimize financial management in terms of budgeting and forecasting. So to optimize or to ensure that the benefit of conducting a proper financial management, the first point that I'm going to highlight is about efficient budgeting and forecasting. So but before that, budgeting kita nak tengok budgeting ni apa sebenarnya, because maybe some of you may get confused with budgeting and forecasting. Okay, so usually budgeting is about making a decision of allocating resources. Okay, budgeting usually involves the activity of allocating resources. That means, for example, if they have money, so they want to know whether they should make a decision to buy machine A or machine B to run project A or project B. So they will usually needs to do budgeting. They needs to know what's the prospect, or maybe the cash inflow that coming from conducting the project or having a particular machine to the company. All right. While the forecasting is about try to predict what will happen to the company in the future. So when talk about forecasting or trying to look at what will happen to the company in the future, usually the point that some of the small business fail to look is to estimate what will happen in the future in terms of its cash condition, whether they will be in cash shortage or cash surplus in the future. So yang itu yang masalah. Dia tak tahu nak buat forecasting, nak agak to estimate, how to predict what will happen in the future. Because financial forecasting is very important for small business. Because small business, as I mentioned before, that they have the problem of capital or access to the capital. So if they don't take care of if they don't know what will happen in the future, let's say if the company do proper financial forecasting activity, for example, they do cash budgets. Okay, they do cash budgets. When we do cash budgets, we are able to know whether the company will be in shortage in a particular month. Maybe next 7 months or next 9 months or next year, a particular month, the company will be in shortage. So when they know what will happen in the future, they can act from today. So apa yang masalah, the problem here is when they don't do the proper cash budget, they don't forecast, so dia tak boleh agak bila duit dia akan short. And then dia nak minta bila usually apa yang berlaku based on my own experience and observation, bila duit dah tak ada, barulah syarikat ni akan mula mencari sumber keuangan lain. Bila duit tak ada, nak cari sumber keuangan atau mulalah nak meminjam dari tempat-tempat yang tidak sepatutnya, for example from the loan shark. Yang itu yang masalah. Itulah masalah utama small and macro business. So ini adalah point yang penting juga ni, macam kalau untuk dosen-dosen kan nak buat community engagement. Actually community engagement yang dosen, yang universiti boleh buat, pergi go for the small or micro businesses yang ada masalah ini. Yang apa yang kita boleh sumbangkan ialah bantu mereka untuk buat financial forecasting, bantu mereka untuk buat budgeting, dan yang paling utama sebenarnya apa yang diperlukan oleh micro and small business, apa yang kita universiti boleh sumbangkan, do a community service or community engagement with them is helping them to do financial forecasting and help them to get access of the capital. So bila kita bantu mereka untuk access of capital, kita akan buat banyak benda lagi dengan mereka. That is helping them to proper or organize their recording, their reporting. So banyak benda lah kita boleh buat sebenarnya kalau untuk poin yang inilah. Mungkin kadang-kadang ada juga rakan-rakan tanya bagaimana nak dapat idea kita nak bantu community, nak buat apa, kita tak keluar sembang dengan community. So daripada idea inilah masalah utama ialah financial forecasting. Jadi this is one of the point that actually can give idea untuk universiti, untuk kita dosen, untuk keluar sumbangkan ilmu yang kita ada, that is helping all the community for SME to develop or to help them to do financial forecasting for their business. Okay, so to be efficient, to have an efficient budgeting and forecasting, what we need to have is, I'm not going to teach you on how to do the capital budgeting or cash budget. Yang itu mungkin kita boleh buat sesi yang lain lah untuk cash budget and budgeting for small and medium business. But for today's session, I just share with you what actually apa yang saya dah lalui dan tengok to do budgeting and forecast, to have an efficient budgeting and forecasting. The SME, okay, the SME, or nanti one day dosen mungkin keluar, you go and do community service or engagement with company. So make sure you help them to have a good proper record of their expenses, of their sales. So when they have a proper record of sales, expenses and so on, nanti sedikit sebanyak boleh bantu kita dah untuk untuk organize their, or help them to organize the financial data. Because to have an up-to-date, accurate and complete financial data memang memenatkan sebenarnya. That's why untuk selalunya kalau kita bantu syarikat yang newly startup tu tak ada masalah. Okay, kalau kita bantu syarikat or buat community engagement or program with newly startup company, we don't have any problem. Kita start pada awal dengan mereka, we help them to organize, to arrange or help them to give some idea ke apakah ya untuk bantu mereka buat recording, so that the financial data tu akan ada daripada awal. Tapi kalau bisnes yang dah lama tu memang masalah sikit lah, because itulah masalah yang saya duk tengok selama inilah. Accurate data is very important to ensure that budgeting and forecasting is can give full impact to what we are trying to do. And then another, to ensure that effective budgeting and forecasting, kena ada we need to get involved all the relevant stakeholders. Okay, so we need to during the session with micro and small business, usually ni benda yang berlaku lah. Usually owner of the business, they in charge of the company's financial matters, and when they in charge the company's financial matters, sometimes they don't want to share the financial info with other staff. Okay, maybe other executive. Kalau dia tak ada manager lain, dialah yang boss, dialah manager and so on, dialah boss, dialah owner, dialah yang membuat keputusan. Jadi usually dia akan ada executive or other manager. Tapi mungkin kalau sebaiknya lah, okay, kita kena educate the owner or the manager to share or to get to let other manager also to get involved during the budgeting and financial forecasting. So ini pun cabaran sebenarnya, the challenge for us in helping or in creating a good forecasting with finance with SME. So during session pula juga ya, kita juga bukan setakat nak buat kerja during community engagement for SME. Kita bukan sahaja just helping the company prepare finance, prepare accounting. Kita juga boleh jadi sebagai motivator juga, motivator or let them change their mindset. They need to change this, they need to change their mindset, they need to change their attitude, they need to change their perception. So peranan kita banyak sebenarnya yang kita boleh jalankan. That's why bila buat community engagement tu, ni tips jugalah, a good team mesti datang daripada multidisiplin. So maybe good team tu datang daripada accounting, finance, betul ada business, and ada yang boleh ada aktiviti, ada team yang boleh support aktiviti motivation and so on, ataupun team HR boleh join. Maksudnya good team tu lah penting, because sepanjang saya buat aktiviti ini untuk dapatkan input yang banyak sebenarnya. To do a good budgeting and forecasting, we need to have input, because during budgeting and forecasting, we need to make assumption. We need to predict based on assumption. Jadi bila predict based on assumption, kita tak boleh assumption based on us. Okay, so assumption tu is not supposedly not based on the owner only. The assumption also based on the input that given by other stakeholders like staff bawahan, staff pertengahan, and maybe other departments, staff, department manager. So daripada situ boleh bantu, can help us in having a good or efficient budgeting and forecasting. However, when talk about assumption, so during budgeting and forecasting, yes, we cannot avoid from assuming, okay, from making assumption. But to have an efficient budgeting and forecasting, we need to avoid excessively, or we need to avoid overly optimistic or pessimistic. Tak boleh nak over sangat lah. Optimistic sangat pun tak boleh, pessimistic sangat pun tak boleh, just nice. Itulah cabarannya lah in making assumption. Jadi to avoid the situation, kadang-kadang dilema, we have the dilemma in terms of assumption. Tadi saya katakan we need to avoid from overly being optimistic and pessimistic. So di mana tengah-tengah, kat mana yang poinnya yang dirasakan sesuai. So usually because of keadaan ini, kita tak tahu whether ini overly ke apa. So usually that's why when we do the budgeting and forecasting for SME, when we do, we need to assume our assumption is not only based on one criteria, we also needs to do assumption based on other criteria or other scenario. Sebab itulah kalau tengok dekat yang colour hijau tu kan, saya dekat sini saya letak ada 7 points kan. So the green one, consider multiple scenario. Okay, consider multiple scenario. So when we do assumption, because when we do forecasting, we cannot avoid, or actually we cannot avoid from making assumption. So tadi saya disebutkan di point yang yellow color tu, avoid excessively or overly optimistic and pessimistic. And then dilemanya, we don't know yang mana satu ini overly or not. Rasa macam logik dah apa yang kita assume ini. Jadi to avoid this situation, we need to consider the green one, consider multiple scenario. So when we consider multiple scenario, so we want when we do forecasting, we will ni tambah kerja sikit lah sebenarnya. We do forecasting for more than one budget, okay? Kalau buat cash budget tu, kita buat selalunya 1 atau 2 cash budget lah. Mungkin satu cash budget kita assume keadaan masa depan akan jadi elok. Another set of cash budget, we assume another keadaannya jadi tak elok. So bila kita buat dua, we do assumption, we do budgeting or forecasting based on assumption. Satu yang the good one, another is the bad one. So this can help us to make a contingency plan lah. Okay, so this is actually to be as a risk management tool as well. Okay, and then when we do budgeting and forecasting, we need to learn from past performance juga. Okay, so to get an input or to assume also the basic things that when we do assumption is not only from the input yang color grey tu, so we need to learn from the past performance as well. So look at the past performance, either the previous budget we have followed or the previous budget successful or not. So tengoklah all the expenses, apa yang jadi. Maybe we have forecasted before this that the sales or the expenses increase or low. So apa yang jadi rupanya maybe other way around. So that previous info also can help us become as a basis of our assumption. And then to ensure the success of budgeting and forecasting, dah penat-penat buat budget and forecasting, to ensure that our budget and forecasting can be realized, of course we need to communicate effectively, communicate with all the people in the organization. So being a transparent actually can foster understanding and support from our staff in the company. All right. So I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say, that efficient budgeting and forecasting is very important. Okay, budgeting and forecasting is very important to the company. So to have a successful budgeting and forecasting, please ensure that we have do forecasting and budgeting based on realistic assumption, and then accurate data collection, consider multiple scenarios, learn from past performance, and it should be flexible. Ada the blue one ni sebenarnya yang saya sebut tadi tu. You can do consider multiple scenario. So ada cash budget yang satu cash budget, 2 set satu set, saya cadangkan 2 set lah. Satu set yang kita assume the worst case scenario, satu set yang akan keadaan yang lebih baik. Jadi bila apa saja yang datang, yang kita lalui, so we can do adjustment throughout the year. So what will happen to the company in terms of its cash situation, for example. Right, so let's go to the next slide. Next point is about the cash flow management. So to optimize financial management, to ensure that we can get benefit, okay? We can get the benefit of conducting financial management. So we should actually, we can do many things actually. So cash flow management is about the companies able to maintain, okay, to have a healthy cash flow. Okay, cash flow management's objective basically, generally is about helping the company to maintain a healthy cash flow. So efficient cash flow management is the one that can make sure the company to stay health. Okay, health here means the company will be in cash. The availability of cash is still secure, and then so to maintain a good cash flow, I said good cash flow means we need to have enough cash flow. Okay, not too much and not too low. So if too low, the company will be in cash easily can turn to be in a cash shortage situation. If too much of cash pun tak elok juga for the business. Okay, holding cash flow too much is not good because it can be an idle cash to the company. Duit yang banyak, holding too much cash for the company is not good because it can be considered as idle cash, whereby bila dah idle cash tu dia tak jadi produktif. Kadang-kadang holding too much cash ni boleh menyebabkan syarikat akan ada masalah lain, iaitu we cannot control the eager to spend the money. So to have an efficient cash flow, to have the benefit of having a benefit, to grab the benefit of conducting a good cash flow management is make sure we know the minimum operating cash that we should have in our hand. Okay, so to maintain a good cash situation, the company needs to have a needs to know what is the minimum operating cash. So yang ini pun for us to do community service or community engagement with SME. Usually in a small or micro business, they have problem in determining the minimum operating cash. They don't have the ilmu untuk macam mana nak tahu how do we know how much minimum amount of money that the company should have. Nak tahu banyak mana nak kena pakai ni. Macam kita lah kan, like us, some of us patut ada duit, make sure maintain dalam kita punya wallet. Maybe macam saya bercakap ringgit Malaysia lah, macam saya I need to have at least 100 ringgit in my wallet because to meet the basic operating for daily operating. For example, mungkin isi minyak kereta, spend money for food and beverage for my kids. Itu adalah untuk personal financial cash flow management. But for the business, apa yang masalah dihadapi ialah itulah nak tentukan what is the minimum amount of operating cash. Because tadi saya sebutkan it's not good for the company to hold too much cash on hand. So since not to hold too much cash on hand, so berapa yang di tangan yang patut ada? So that's the main issue. So that's why kita university we can this is one of the point yang kita boleh bantu kita punya micro business or a small business in helping them to determine the minimum operating cash, and then they to benefit to grab the benefit of cash flow management, to maintain a healthy cash flow, the company needs to do forecasting about its cash flow fluctuations. Okay, so dia kena tahulah nak tahu duit dia akan the company will be in shortage or surplus of cash, so they need to have a good cash flow forecasting. Ni yang tadi saya sebut ni dalam cash budget. And then to ensure that the company always maintain enough cash, they needs to optimize the receivables and payables. So how to optimize receivable and payables ni agak challenging lah untuk small business. When we talk about optimize the receivable, so receivable, anak-anak accounting ni tak faham lah kan, receivable is our customer who buy the products on credit kan. Jadi barang habis, duit tak ada. So to maintain a healthy cash flow, the company cannot simply allow the customer to buy on credit from them without examining the customer's background. So to optimize receivable, one of the way is actually the small business needs to study first their prospect, their future buyer or the company that wants to buy on credit from them. So ini pun challenging ni, walaupun tak sampai lagi topik tentang challenging. Setiap slide yang saya cerita ni semua saya dah cerita siap-siap dah about the challenge of small business. So to the problem of small business and micro business, the main problem here is usually if they want to increase the number of sales, they usually allow the customer to buy on credit. However, their credit policy is not really strong. Okay, they are unable to do, maybe they lack of knowledge in studying the potential buyer before they allow the customer to buy on credit. So this point also can give us the idea for the docent, for us to contribute to the business or to the small or micro business, give them knowledge about how to analyze the future customer before they allow the customer to buy on credit. So optimizing receivable, apa yang saya nak sampaikan di sini ialah yes, you can allow the customer to buy on credit to encourage sales, but please don't go too much, because if go too much, invest in receivable, this can let the company having problem of its cash availability, because duit tak dapat, we don't have money from the customer ambil barang, they don't give us the money, we have to wait for them to pay. Let's say the customer buat installment 3 kali, 4 kali, so we have to wait for the third time untuk dapatkan duit. So ini adalah problem untuk small and micro business. Medium business, I don't think they have they should have a good credit collection department. Diorang selalunya okay, baik. Tapi yang masalah yang kita tengok for the company that having problem is small and micro business. Kadang-kadang when they allow the customer to buy on credit from them, they having problem of collecting the money from the customer. Kadang-kadang customer tu pula marah balik masa dia nak kutip duit tu. Alright, and to optimize receivable, also another point that I can add is when they want to allow the customer to buy on credit, you need to look back on the credit term that you can give to the customer. Okay, either the credit term is competitive enough with the or maybe you can do benchmarking, look at the competitor, what are the credit terms offered by the creditor. So kalau kita tak tahu if the company don't have knowledge about setting up the credit term, so one of the way that we can advise to them is try to do benchmark. Okay, look at the competitor or other business. What are the credit terms offered by our competitor, so that we can use that info as a basis for us to make decision in setting up the credit term. Talking about next point, optimizing payables. As we know that payables is actually the business deals with the company's supplier. Okay, so how to optimize the payables? So the thing that we can, the small business optimize with payable, and the thing that we usually advise to the small business when they want to optimize the payables, and what they can do is they can arrange with the supplier, or like this, when they have a problem, they don't want to face lack of cash. What they can do is they need to study their supplier. Any supplier that giving high amount of interest. Okay, because some of the payables that the company needs to face is the payable that charge interest. So one of the way we can help or advise the small business is to choose or to settle the payment for the supplier. Okay, settle the payments for the supplier that giving high interest or penalty. So settle that one first. And another way is to optimize the payables. We also advise the company, what we can advise to the company is to have a good track record with the supplier, and then we advise them to communicate, okay, to the supplier effectively, persuade maybe to deal with the supplier to get maybe to have to extend, okay, to extend the term of credit. So because kalau company tu if the company able to extend the term of credit, so at least the company can what we call can use the money, boleh kalau di sini kita sebut, I'm not sure that bahasa Indonesianya apa, kalau di sini kita sebut bahasa mudahnya duit rolling, boleh rolling duit tu. So kalau if you are able to if the business able to deal with the supplier to extend the credit term, so the business can roll can use the money to other other transaction. Right. So that's about cash flow management. So we go to the next point. Okay, so we go to the next point whereby to optimize financial management or to get the benefit of financial management is by doing financial analysis and performance measurement. Okay, financial analysis and performance measurement. So for the financial analysis and performance measurement, what we usually advise the company, if they want to get the benefit of doing the financial have and benefit to have the effective financial management, what they need to do is they need to regularly review their financial statements. Okay, the one that I've mentioned to you before is that some of the company they just prepare the financial statement because of the requirement, and then for the sake of fulfill the requirement, they just prepare the financial statement and just leave like that. So to grab the benefit of or to optimize the financial management, supposedly they they need to review their own financial performance so that they can monitor their performance by actually how to monitor the performance, that is by calculate and monitor the key financial ratios. Okay, the key financial ratios. So yang ini pun because some of the micro and small business may don't have the knowledge of calculating the financial ratios. For us financial ratio ni senang kan, tapi untuk small micro business yang tak ada knowledge in business, yang tak ada knowledge in finance and accounting, mungkin ada masalah. So this is part of the agenda of for us university, for docent, when they want to do the community service or community engagement. Ini pun part yang kita boleh masukkan dalam kita punya modul. That is, we want to contribute to them. We help them to do financial analysis and performance measurement for them as well. So what actually we usually advise and advise the small and micro business to do is not only calculate and monitor the key financial ratios, we also remind, after we evaluate and reminds the debt levels and look whether the company has the ability to service their obligations or not. Okay, that's the 3 points that the monitoring key financial ratios, evaluate debt level, yang ni kita kena remind, because nanti setiap company bila tak ada duit pinjam, so sedar-sedar hutang dah terlalu banyak, and then bila hutang dah terlalu banyak nak service debt tu mungkin masalah for the company. So ini point yang kita kena ingatkan mereka bahawa it is very important for them to always review their own performance in terms of debt levels and its ability and their level to survey the debt obligation. And another is when we advise the company to review the financial statement, we also advise them to do or help them to do benchmarking. Okay, help them to do benchmarking, because calculating ratio for calculating ratio for the sake of calculating their own company's ratio is maybe not really useful if we just compare with our own performance. What we need to do, we also need to do comparative analysis, where we need to do benchmarking. We need to maybe compare the company's performance with the industry or with the nearest competitor. And then to benefit from the financial management, to optimize the financial management also, what we can do is, our advice is to compare actual and budgeted figures regularly. So during the session, what we can do is we can help the small business company to give them the knowledge on studying budget. Okay, tadi kita dah tolong dia bantu buat budget, and then we need to remind of comparing the actual and budgeted figures regularly, either the performance, what's happening, okay, the actual situation is what the company has already expected or not. Okay, and then another point is we need to advise them to review expenses. Okay, review expenses. Tengok baliklah juga, look at the budgeted. Ada tak yang kita budget we budgeted to spend just by certain amount of money in a particular expenses. Apa yang berlaku sebenarnya in terms of yang terjadi dengan expenses, the actual expenses. So yang ini kena review jugalah. Okay, whether the expenses that has been done is the expenses that actually meant for the business, in line what they are targeting for their business operation. And then the next one is need to track inventory. Okay, So what the activity that we can do is also give them knowledge about tracking inventory. So to know what's the amount of inventory available. So ini point-point yang kita boleh masukkan dalam kita punya modul or activity that we can do with our with the business that we can help the business in tracking inventory. Usually kita boleh bantu mereka to determine the reorder points, the number of orders, and banyak lagi lah sebenarnya kalau nak cakap tentang tracking inventory ni. Alright, so that's about the financial analysis and performance measurement. So next one is access to capital and financing option. Oh, sorry. The next one is leveraging technology and financial tools. Okay, leveraging technology and financial tool. So to benefit or to optimize financial management, since many small or micro business, kalau kita tengok dalam masalah yang terkini yang dilaporkan that being reported by SME Corp in Malaysia, we have government agency that is SME Corporation, SME Corp, that will do helping, guiding, reporting about the SME performance in Malaysia. And based on the report, it mentions that one of the main problem of SME, particularly micro business and small business, is they're having problem to go digital. Okay, having problem of using technology in their business. But actually, to optimize the financial management, the business should use technology in optimizing financial management processes for SMEs, such as cloud accounting software, automated bookkeeping, and financial analytic tools. Jadi, what we found in real situation, not many company has knowledge about this. And then, untuk anak-anak yang pelajar-pelajar accounting, mungkin input ini boleh bantu pelajar-pelajar semua untuk kalau di sini tersebut persiapkan diri. So you need to get prepared for you to value add your CV, to value add your resume. After you have finished studying, go and get the certification of using any accounting software. Okay, ada banyak accounting software yang ada banyak because kebanyakan syarikat yang ada micro business, small business ni, kalau medium business tu saya tak we don't worry much because usually the medium business, they have money, so they can hire people to do accounting, to do accounting activity or financial analyzing activity for them. But what we care about is more about the small, more on the small and micro business. So ambil peluang, take the opportunity to all the accounting students. So maybe masa belajar ni ke, before graduates or after graduates, go and get certification of using a particular software. So that software, bila you ada skill software tertentu, what you can offer to the company. Usually bila kita interview kan, so syarikat akan tanyakan apa yang you boleh offer untuk syarikat, apa yang you boleh sumbang, what you can contribute to the company. So one of the way is maybe if you good in wave accounting, for example, wave accounting ni kalau wave accounting, QuickBooks ni, kalau di Malaysia ada juga company yang pakai, yang suka pakai lah sebab taklah mahal sangat. So if you have certification or skills in using a particular software, these are the points that you can sell yourself during the interview. Okay, So since kebanyakan syarikat mungkin tak ada kepakaran untuk menggunakan software tertentu, so maybe you masuk dalam syarikat tu, you boleh bantu the micro business or small business in helping them to optimize the technology, to help them to optimize the financial management processes. So ada banyak lah sebenarnya saya letak in my slide. I just put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only. Okay, actually dia ada banyak lagi. So take chance bila you, for the students, undergrad student, instead of you hold your smartphone, tengok, buka Insta, buat content, instead of pegang smartphone, tengok YouTube, tengok movie, try use a smartphone sambil rehat tu kan, study, go and study the accounting software for small business, yang mana simple and mudah and free version. So study and explore the skill of using maybe free accounting software. So that yang itu you boleh gunakan point itu for you to help you to sell yourself during the interview. Alright, so next point, tak banyak dah slide. So we go to the next point is, of course, if you want to optimize the benefit of doing or conducting financial management, you need to have financial education and expertise, okay? You need to have financial education. Financial literacy is very important because it is the basis for us to make an informed, okay, or well financial decisions, and of course can help the company to achieve financial stability. All right, as I've mentioned in earlier of my presentation just now, that some of the company, micro or small business company, the financial matters are managed by the owner of the company itself. They don't hire specific tasks, okay, people or qualified people to manage the financial matters on behalf of the company. So when the manager or the owner manage the financial matter itself, tambah pula they don't have the skill of financial education, itu yang menyebabkan ada masalah di dalam pengurusan keuangan, problems in financial management. So in realizing the situation, if in Malaysia we have the SME Corp, also we have banking as well, financial institution, they do a lot of seminar or webinar to educate, okay, micro business and small business about the financial to enhance the financial knowledge. Other than that, kita boleh cadangkanlah during the consultation, we can advise them to read personal finance book. Tapi itulah zaman sekarang ni orang tak suka pegang buku kan. They love to hold the smartphone. Everything is on the fingertips. So boleh tengoklah, study di handphone sahaja. So because of that, we can advise them to go for online financial literacy courses, and boleh buka website kat mana, government website, government resources. Kalau di Malaysia we have AKPK, we have SME Corp that provide resources for the about the financial education. There are also non-profit organizations who conduct who educate small and small business, micro business, to enhance their financial knowledge. Go for financial blog and website, attend seminars, webinars, and assessing professional advice. Ini yang kita, our university, dosen ni, kita boleh gunakan peluang inilah. What we can do, we can do community survey or So apa yang saya cerita ni based on my experience in Malaysia. Okay. Right. That is actually the end of my point number 3. So we go to the last point, Doctor. So we go for the point number 4, which are key issues and challenges. So kalau tengok di sini performance of SME in Malaysia. MSME ni ialah micro business, small medium enterprise. Okay, micro, small and medium enterprise. Kalau kita tengok the performance of MSME in Malaysia, kita tengok trend dekat sini labor productivity in 2021. Kalau tengok trend starts from 2016. Actually, I have data start from 2014. Kalau tengok start from 2014 pun sebenarnya performance dah turun, jatuh. And then kalau kita tengok the issue in SME in Malaysia ialah there are large number of company of SME established in Malaysia, but the productivity is still small. Okay, still small. Kalau tengok dekat sini is only about 0.1% of 0.1%. So labor productivity is not really good. So ini sebenarnya one of the issue that we can highlight dekat sini. Labor productivity agak rendah as compared to apa yang berlaku in the real situation in MSME. MSME labor productivity is quite low. Okay, quite low. So ini pun dah boleh bagi trigger idea that something should be done in human capital development. Okay, so ni boleh tengok dekat sini dah dapat idea dah nak buat research tentang apa. So isu tentang human capital development. And then if we look at the export, the data of export component on the right side, export data pun kalau tengok the trend decrease. Okay, from 2016 until 2021, I am referring to MSME exports components and contribution from 2016 to 2021. If we look at the trendnya pun makin trendnya menurun downtrend. Okay, alright. Supposedly the trend should be increased, even though kita tahu, we know that because of COVID-19 has the challenges of COVID-19 actually has prevent the company to go export or to perform in export activity. Tapi kalau di Malaysia tu actually banyak sebenarnya, there are many support given by the government in enhance the export activity, in enhance the labor productivity, but there is still we can see the performance still decrease. So ini pun menjadi satu isu juga yang kita boleh tengok. Banyak government support dah diberikan, tapi performance of the export masih berkurang. So yang tadi ni on the left side, labor productivity, banyak sudah there are many supports that have been given available in the market. There are many supports have been given by the government, but the performance or the labor productivity is still quite low as compared to large firm. And then ini pun jadi isu labor. And then the export performance. And then next slide about the performance of SME. Next slide, Doctor. So yang ini pun kita boleh nampak juga performance of SME in terms of its value. Okay, value of SME GDP. So the performance of the value of SME GDP also decrease. Decrease starts from 2019, decrease 2020, year 2020, year 2021. Even though supports that have been given by the government, but the performance is still low. Okay. Kalau naik pun, if you look at the orange one, the red one, red or orange, the orange one 512.9 increase to 518.1. Itu pun sikit saja sebenarnya. Very slight improvement in terms of performance of SME. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini kan, ini ialah point yang saya highlight ni. Sebenarnya I took this point after based on the reports of SME Corporation. Ini adalah isu yang selalu dihadapi oleh the issue or the challenges always faced by the micro and small business. Di dalam ini pun sebenarnya, even though these are the point that actually highlighted in SME Corp report, and this also actually this issue also actually the issue that I faced, I observe, okay, that most of the micro and small business is facing actually. Of course, as we know, the most of the issue and challenges is insufficient cash flow and high in business. So and we know that high price of raw materials and packaging, rental, utility charges, lower demand for goods and services. So the main problem here is insufficient cash flow and high cost of doing business. And then late payment issues, okay, late payment issues by debtors. That can trigger more problem to actually trigger the problem of cash flow. Okay, trigger the problem of cash flow. So kalau tengok ini yang memang these are the point that really faced by the company, the late payment issue. So kalau kita tengok, if you recall back my previous slide, that is relates to the actually relates to the optimizing receivable, okay, under the cash flow management. So that's why actually kita boleh nampak kesan dia when you don't do a proper credit policy checking, okay, do proper don't have a good credit policy, ini akan mencetuskan isu inilah late payment issue. So kita boleh link dah sebenarnya late payment issue dengan poor credit or poor account receivable management. Okay, so poor account receivable management. And then low technology adoption. Yang ini pun masalah ni kan, low technology adoption. When usually they don't want to adopt the technology because for them using technology can incur them more cost, okay, can incur more cost to the company. But actually ini yang pentingnya sebenarnya, penting untuk syarikat if they want to adopt the technology, jangan tengok pada harga saja. That's why capital budgeting is very important. Look at how technology can help the company to increase the value of the company, whether the technology that they're going to buy or use is worth it or not. That's why the capital budgeting coming in. Okay, so inilah part yang mana kita juga as a dosen actually we can contribute to the company, helping them to realize how technology can help them to enhance their business operation and help them actually lower cost. They just need to pay once, okay. But the benefit of using technology is actually more than they spend actually. Our task is actually to help them to, kalau kita nak contribute lah the business, so what we can do is we can help them in giving them knowledge of doing capital budgeting. And then another issue is micro and small business quite highly depends on unskilled workers. Okay, highly depends on unskilled workers. So that's why kalau tadi kita tengok di slide kita tadi ada labor productivity in 2021. Tadi saya ada bagi slide tu kan, in previous 2 slides actually labor productivity in year 2021 gap kalau productivity is just only 0.1%. Okay, 0.1% maksudnya productivity-nya agak rendah. Yalah. That's why, because the main problem here is we depends, okay, the small and micro business depends on unskilled workers, because if they want to pay for the skilled workers, if they want to hire skilled workers, they need to pay higher salary. So kesannya itulah low productivity of micro and small business. So widen the gap, the productivity gap between MSME and large firm. And another issues or challenges faced by the SME, the small and micro and small business, is they facing constricted access to finance. That means limited access to finance. Usually, based on the experience, is where actually they are having a poor understanding. Okay, the situation of constricted or limited access to finance is actually is due to the poor understanding among them, among the MSMEs, regarding processes and compliance to requirements to secure fundings, and of course lah, because of the poor documentation. Itu yang kata tu one of, kita dah tahu dah masalah. We know that the problem is poor documentation, unable to secure fundings because of poor documentation, tak comply itu, tak comply ini. So as a what we can do is this is what one of the point that we can use, one of the reason that we can use, that we can contribute to the community, okay, to the micro or small business, helping them to have knowledge or change their mindset about proper documentation, teach them, share the knowledge of in terms of process compliance. So kita boleh bantu lah. Kita boleh bantu starts from the documentation. We also can help them dapat bantu mereka sehinggalah dapat buat pinjaman daripada bank ataupun bantuan keuangan, any credit facilities from the government. And another issues is some of the issue is they have a good products, but lack of marketing knowledge or skills. Okay, lack of marketing knowledge or skills. Dia orang tak ada knowledge or marketing and skills. So untuk anak-anak murid, for all the students, just now I've advised you equip yourself with skills or knowledge about maybe cloud accounting software, any knowledge or skill using automated bookkeeping application or financial analytic tools. Other than that is you can equip yourself with marketing. Okay, this can value add yourself in terms of actually maybe the knowledge of creating a content. Okay, so that you can help the company to create a good content other than lousy content or the content that can give a bad image to the company. So other thing that you can offer to the company when they ask you what are the things that you can offer, what are the things that you can contribute to the company, is not only on the skill that you have about the cloud accounting software, automated bookkeeping and so on. You also can offer another skills, okay, that is you can help the company to do or to create a good content to the company, good marketing content to the company. And last one is another issue is export issues. Okay, export issues that actually faced by Malaysia. I'm not sure about the Indonesia, but in here we have the problem of according to them, okay, when the SME Corporation do a survey, ask the micro and small business regarding the export issues. So based on the answer, they claim that they have export issues because actually due to inadequate information on the targeted markets. And then they also reluctant to do export sometimes because they expect if they export the thing, it will incur higher operating costs. This is about the perception. So ini perception inilah yang menyebabkan dia orang tak export barang, takut nak kena buat macam-macam ya. Need to pay a certain amount of money for transportation and so on. And then some of the result also shows some of the response, okay, by the business. They mentioned that they have inadequate source of financing for exports. Okay, and then some of the business also reveal that they don't have adequate information on global demands for product and service. knowledge on competitors and distribution tu juga. Actually, bukan kita yang, for a dosen like us, kita tak perlu pun sebenarnya nak buat for this part. Macam Malaysia ni, kita dah ada badan, we already have the government agency that cater, that responsible in managing this problem, these issues. So when we go and do community service or engagement, we as a docent actually, we can let them know what are the channels that they can do. Okay, what are the where they can get the source of financing, where they can get the information about the targeted market. So our task is just guide them in increasing their knowledge regarding the export issues. So I think dah 12 minit, banyak pula saya bercakap. Alright, so I think that's all for my presentation today. So I give it to Dr. Sambas.
Baik. Very interesting presentation, Dokter. Saya menyimak dari awal sampai akhir dan ini memang saya juga sangat tertarik untuk doing research in MS MIS. Akan tetapi ya memang di cabaran-cabaran kalau kita di Indonesia ini untuk level undergrad student ini, Dokter.
Yeah.
Actually, I cannot barely to ask my student to do a data collection because it's very challenging and very hard in here. I don't know, maybe Dokter boleh cerita sedikit bagaimana kalau kita tuh melakukan riset, terutama data collection pada small SMEs di Malaysia, Dokter. Sebelum ini sambil terus kita masuk Q&A session, Dokter.
Ini pun sudah sebahagiannya ya. Okay. Based on my own experience, kalau saya sendiri for my own research regarding that relates to the SME, macam saya finance, I use secondary data and I use my own money to buy from Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia SSM, and of course it's quite expensive. Kalau ada grant is good, but untuk yang tak ada grant, if you don't have the ability to use secondary data, nak beli tu mahal kan. So apa yang boleh buat questionnaire, boleh aja, ada saja sebenarnya. Collect data, hantar questionnaire saja. Tanya mereka tentang, cuma itulah mindset untuk orang yang pakai secondary dengan primary data ni lain kan.
Betul.
Tapi itulah untuk menangani isu ini, boleh buat sebenarnya, hantar questionnaire. So kita kena create instrument lah untuk collect data regarding financial performance. Macam saya, instead of I ask the company about the financial performance, let's say kalau mereka buat keputusan investment decision or financial decision, kalau you ada spend money untuk beli certain machine, apa jadi pada performance syarikat. So dia orang akan jawab lah. So kita boleh tanya soalan itulah. Ini contoh saja ya. Macam saya, instead of that, saya memang guna secondary data. Tapi sebenarnya tak ada masalah. Kita boleh buat another kind of question, that proxy question. Kita hantar secondary data lah. Ada banyak je questionnaire yang student undergrad boleh guna.
Iya.
Ada banyak sebenarnya. Ataupun mungkin boleh fokus kepada micro SME untuk cater specific targeted location only untuk student undergrad ni.
Iya, betul. To the micro, Dokter.
And then ataupun untuk student nak dapat topik untuk study, kan tadi kan saya ada sebut tentang problem of excess of excess of capital, betul.
Capital ya betul.
Excess of capital. Apa yang salah satunya adalah macam ni kita boleh bantu, the students can contribute in terms of cuba study tentang because creditor or lender, when they want to before they grant a loan, of course they do profiling kan. Jadi one of the way to do profiling is kalau large company, for large company tak ada masalah untuk tunjukkan kepada lender to gain confidence of the lender to lend the money to them. That is just by looking at the financial statement, looking at the website. So masalah micro and small medium company kalau di Malaysia lah, mereka ni website yang ada tidak mereka tidak optimize the benefit of having a website.
Betul sama lah doktor, sama.
Okay.
Terkadang kalau di sini micro juga itu tak ada website sama sekali. Dia hanya mengandalkan they depend on social media.
Betul.
Instagram, WhatsApp, atau mereka terus membuat macam di online marketplace.
True. So kalau zaman if 5 or 10 years back memang website kita kata very important kan. Sekarang ni macam doktor kata tadi, zaman sekarang ni they use social media. So another thing that maybe student undergrad can do is maybe examining the usefulness of social media in helping the company to perform. Pun boleh sebenarnya. Sebab kalau dulu saya buat research tentang the usefulness of website, that means untuk large company kan, website sudah ada, tapi website tu cukup tak info yang sepatutnya? Because I believe that in Indonesia and actually in Malaysia as well, tapi saya ada sembang dengan another dosen from other university who actually experience involved in granting loan to business, small business. One of the way before what they do before they grant a loan, they will do profiling. They actually will study the potential applicants' social media. So they will study the if the Insta ada Facebook, ada TikTok, so akan buat profiling dari situ. So that's why sekarang ni small and micro business, kalau you ada masalah, you have problem in getting duit from outside, apa yang sekejap ya, hello, excuse. Ada dengar suara saya tak?
Dengar.
Okey, alhamdulillah. Jadi ambillah peluang, mungkin student boleh study tentang usefulness of either the micro and small business has used their social media platform in a good way that can help them to increase to increase the chance of getting approved by the potential lenders. So dari situ banyak benda kita boleh buat iaitu daripada aktiviti itu mungkin satu point student boleh study tentang the level of the level of usefulness of social media in helping the company to perform or in helping the company to gain sales or whatsoever. Ataupun study tentang buat indeks lah pun boleh doktor, buat indeks.
Indeks, betul indeks. Senang lagi indeks.
Kan? buat indeks saja.
Lebih mudah lagi tu.
Ya, lebih mudah. Jadi macam kalau doktor ada student yang ramai, indeks ni actually there is no there is no specific rule that index should have this
Betul.
criteria. Jadi doktor mungkin ada student yang ramai. So mungkin student ini boleh guna when they create the index, mungkin student ni boleh buat index berdasarkan dimension tertentu, different dimension. This student can examine the social media quality, okay, social media quality. Buat index quality lah. In social media quality of micro and SME ni, micro and small business ni in terms of another dimension. So dah banyak, walaupun tajuk yang sama, tapi different student study different dimension pun dah dapat point dah tu.
Alhamdulillah. Ini sebetulnya dokter, di sini kan ramai student. Saya ini hanya encourage saja sebab ramai student ini terkadang discuss dengan saya, Pak, saya tak dapat idea lah Pak untuk nak buat ini. Kalau nak buat dekat kalau di sini kita sebut semi itu apa ya kita sebutnya, astagfirullahaladzim.
Ya, yang PKS tu.
Bukan, PKS pedagang kaki lima, PKL. SM ini
UMKM.
UMKM.
Oh, UMKM. Ya.
Usaha kecil dan menengah. UMKM.
Usaha kecil dan menengah.
Usaha kecil dan menengah. Ya. So yaitu permasalahannya terkadang mindset dokter.
Betul.
Inilah, tapi alhamdulillah dokter sudah membagi ide di sini dekat kami semua. Ini ramai ini ada student ini Dede, ada Dida, ada lagi ramai lagi ini Mutiara nih sepatutnya buat SME juga nih. Harusnya boleh dapat idea lah nih. Baik. Kita terus untuk bagi peluang dulu untuk student dokter dengan di sini alhamdulillah sudah ramai juga lecture kita yang bergabung.
Okey, boleh.
Boleh silakan raise hand ataupun terus langsung memberikan pertanyaan kepada Dr. Shina. Ya, silakan. Ada yang mau ditanyakan atau ingin diskusi, silakan. Di sini ada guru-guru kita, Ibu Naleni ada. Mungkin Bu Naleni juga ada, Bu Yeti ini ada juga di sini, alhamdulillah ada Bu Vicky juga.
Kalau nak tambah pun tak apa. Apa yang saya sampaikan tadi mungkin ada yang nak tambah pun tak ada masalah.
Ya. Silakan Bapak Ibu atau anak-anak mahasiswa lainnya, silakan. Ada yang mau ditanyakan, ini menarik nih. Harusnya banyak pertanyaan ini. Kalau saya
malu. Tak apa. Kalau malu okey. Sambil menunggu soalan-soalan, tak apa, saya cakap aja. Mungkin ada yang tak berminat dengan micro and small business, MSME. Kalau tak berminat, ada yang berminat tentang large company kan, public listed company.
Betul.
Kalau tadi kita ada just now I've mentioned about examining quality of social media. But for large company, they need to have, kalau di Malaysia, I'm not sure about in Indonesia. For public listed company, in Malaysia, they are required to have their own website.
Sama dokter,
Sama kan? Jadi what you can do is sama juga. You can study the quality of website. You can study the quality of, ada banyak isu sebenarnya.
Media. Betul.
Walaupun telah lama isu ni di-discuss, dibincangkan, tapi ada isu-isu lain zaman sekarang ni yang requirement requirement terkini. Adakah website for large company still the same macam dulu-dulu, atau mungkin mereka sudah ubah mengikut peredaran zaman kan, peredaran masa. So itu pun boleh study tu, the quality of website, or tengoklah mungkin exploring whether the company has used the social media as well. Macam-macam lah sebenarnya.
Betul dokter. Itu pun yang tema tajuk yang dokter sampaikan barusan itu, alhamdulillah sudah tengah dibuat oleh student saya di student master saya tuh. Buat itu dokter. Website dengan sosial media sekali dokter.
Very good lah.
Sebagai sebab kan ini kan kalau sosial media website kita masukkan dalam kategori aset dokter, aset kan dokter.
Okay.
Itu dia. Ini menarik nih.
Menarik. So sekarang ni sebab kan zaman sekarang kan zaman menggunakan social media, and then and we know that profiling, lender ni memang akan profile dulu, especially for micro and small business. Memang dia akan profile, dia akan study. Sama juga macam student, ni nak nasihat ni. I always advise my student, you have your own social media, you have your own Facebook, Insta and so on. So make sure setengah student tu, setengah tu dia suka semua private kan, private, and jadi kalau you nak minta kerja, for example, usually potential employer dia akan study you di social media. So why? Because they wants to get to know you. Okay, because they wants to get to know you. Jadi kalau you nak communicate, if you want to communicate with you want to tell something about you to potential employer, so make sure post something that is good lah. Hati-hatilah, avoid of using social media to hentam orang ke, being a bad keyboard warrior ke, so kena hati-hati. So you can use, student also can use social media platform to help yourself, to sell yourself to the potential employer.
Dokter. Ini saya tawarkan lagi untuk partisipan kita hari ini, silakan. Dedek mungkin mau nanya, Dek, ini kan kamu tengah buat ini nih, riset di SMI nih. Dida juga nih. Nah, Dida. Pada kemana anak-anak ini? Tidur. Nah, ini ada nih, ada ini. Deva dekat pejabat nih, dokter.
Tak apalah, sambil-sambil mungkin mereka malu nak tanya, tak tahu atau mungkin masih mengarang soalan. Other is boleh study tentang ini, profiling or benchmarking the success player of MSME.
I see.
Sebab zaman sekarang ni zaman orang suka buat profile kan. Jadi mungkin ada student yang boleh study profiling the success MSME player ni. Jadi kalau di I'm not sure about in Indonesia. Kalau di Malaysia kita ada award that means E50 award, dari company yang sukses akan dapat award. Jadi mungkin boleh study demografi, boleh guna teori upper echelon for example. Okay, so you boleh study the demographic background of the success player of MSME. So daripada situ pun boleh create quality index as well. Yang itu pun actually can contribute to the banking or banking system. Dan itu boleh, banyak benda yang boleh buat tu sebenarnya. So boleh study success player. Yang tu pun boleh sebenarnya. So success player tu boleh study, either you send a questionnaire or you go and interview.
Betul. Interview boleh buat konten YouTube sekali, dokter.
Itulah. Kan.
Boleh konten YouTube sekali. Boleh kan. Baik, ada lagi Bu Fauzia, mana Bu Fauzia nih? Bu Fauzia? Di manakah Bu Fauzia? Sedang menunggu anak sekolah kah? Atau sudah di kampus? Ini saya ini suka ini doktor, suka apa namanya bercanda-bercanda dengan lecture-lecture muda ni.
Ah,
Ini Sela gimana Sela? Ada yang mau nanya Sela? Ika, Dustin. Ada yang mau ditanyakan? Alisa, Lis, mau nanya Lis?
free aja, tanya. Atau
Dustin
mungkin nak jumpa September nanti. Juga mungkin mereka nak jumpa saya September kot.
InsyaAllah nanti kita buat jamuan.
Boleh.
Dustin ada mau tanya, Tin? Ini mewakili sebab Dustin ini doktor, student community.
Oh, okay.
One of the head of the unit in student community. They do several work in Smith. So I believe Dustin may asking question to Dr. Sina.
Okay.
Silakan Dustin.
Iya Pak, sebenarnya terkait dengan perbedaan Pak, di Malaysia dan di Indonesia.
Baik, silakan.
Oke, baik dokter, tadi kan Dr. Norshamshina mengatakan bahwasannya itu all SME must collect their financial information to SSM, atau ya kalau mungkin di Indonesianya apa ya, OJK mungkin ya. Nah, mungkin pertanyaan saya Ibu, apakah peranan dari financial institution and supporting institution seperti SSM di Malaysia dalam membantu optimizing financial management in SME? Nah, seperti yang dokter katakan tadi, bahwasanya mereka harus mengirimkan informasi keuangan mereka. Nah, mungkin ini perbedaannya dokter di Indonesia dan juga Malaysia. Sedangkan kalau di Indonesia itu mungkin OJK-nya itu tidak ada melakukan hal seperti itu. Ya, ini itu aja Pak.
Okay, thank you Dustin atas soalan tadi. Saya ulang balik ya, nak tanya tentang peranan SSM ya?
Iya, betul.
Okay, actually ada banyak peranan yang dimainkan oleh SSM. Salah satunya salah satunya ialah actually peranan SSM ni ialah dia govern for registration. Okay, SSM ni sebenarnya peranannya ialah untuk pendaftaran syarikat, company registration. Okay, so SSM in charge of the company registration specifically for micro, small and medium business. And requirement by SSM is those who registered, especially because in Malaysia we have quite similar to Indonesia form of business, different form of business. We have a sole proprietorship, partnership and corporation. If in Malaysia we have, if non-public listed, we call it as sendirian berhad. So they need to submit to the SSM the financial reports. That is compulsory for them to submit. If they don't submit, they will be penalized. Ada penalty like they need to pay. So apa yang setakat ini yang peranan kalau SSM mainkan di, especially kalau tengok di sini student pun, kalau di sini student pun sudah ada yang terlibat dengan perniagaan in business. So apa yang based on the experience is I look at the SSM. What they do is they mempermudahkan. They help for the young graduates in company registration. Okay, company registration. And then itu satu part lah apa yang peranan SSM. Okay, the role of SSM in helping micro and small business. One of it is to give ease of access in doing company registration. Sometimes they come to university, they do their own roadshow or expo, participate in university event and help the university student to register their business. And that one is in terms of that. In terms of when you asked about financial statements with the report that they need to pay, the thing that they can contribute, actually I'm talking based on my own experience. When I conduct my research, you can have you can buy, actually, you can go to the website. Actually, you can go to the website and then you can download the financial statement. You don't have to go to the SSM. You can download on the internet. So the SSM gives or provide a platform, provide a platform to the public or to the researcher, to the university, to get the secondary data, the financial statement or financial figures from the platform, from the website. But as I said, we need to pay. But so far, when during my PhD study, I tried to contact. I think maybe you also can do that in your country. Try to contact the person in charge, those who in data or statistic department. Maybe what I did was I contact and I sent email telling that I'm students from a particular university. So maybe you can do that as well. Ask a letter from the department, from the deans or what, to letter of verification that you are a student currently conducting a research regarding SME and you need a particular financial data from them. So what I did was I sent the email to them and a letter to know to get actually a special price. I still need to pay. So what the role of them in helping the students or university students or researcher is for those who unpaid researcher, like us, like university, what we can do is for student lah, especially kan, then just try to send an email. They usually I don't have any. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah for me, I got the special price. Instead of I need to pay puluh ribu ringgit, so I just pay less than that. I'm happy lah. Itulah peranan yang for university, apa yang dia can contribute to the public in terms of students kan, macam kita ni kan. Dan lain-lain tu banyaknya adalah yang dia orang bagi education, dia orang bagi buat roadshow or seminar, webinar to create awareness among the SME, MSME, awareness of company registration. Because ada yang syarikat yang tidak, ada yang buka syarikat tapi tak daftar syarikat. So they create awareness the importance of registering the company in SSM. Because ada banyak benefit. Setengah orang takut nak register because maybe they scared to pay, they need to pay tax. That's why they tak nak register. But actually, if you register, you can get you can take opportunity to grab other opportunity offered by Malaysia SME agency or government agency, because one of the terms and condition, if you want to get the subsidy or to get the support, financial support from the government, is you need to have a company registration. So that's all from me. Is that am I answering your question, Dusty?
Yes, dokter. Jadi memang dokter, kalau misalkan permasalahan sekarang tuh yang mikro ini mereka ragu untuk register kepada registration because alasan teks tadi ya gitu. So itu ya menjadi masalah juga kan dokter, bahwasannya mereka sulit untuk grow up dari micro ke mungkin small ya.
Because bila tak register, memang bantuan keuangan pun nanti akan terbantut. Takut, you scared or because of one reason you don't want to pay the tax. But you actually dah forgo the chance to grab the benefit of getting the financial support or subsidies or encouragement by the government and the other financial institution. Okay, thank you, Dustin.
Iya, Dokter.
Baik. Ada lagi? Sepertinya ini sudah 11.30 waktu Medan dan 12.30 waktu Malaysia.
Ya, betul. Semua sudah.
Kita akhiri sampai di sini, Dokter ya?
Oke, ada foto session apa?
Ada.
Oke.
Ada, Dokter. Ada. Nanti kita buat foto session selepas ini. Baik, terima kasih Dr. Sina untuk
Sama-sama.
session kita hari ini. Sangat menarik sekali, Alhamdulillah. Insya Allah kita akan ketemu lagi di session-session berikutnya sebab ProAksi series ini ramai programnya, Dokter.
Oh, oke.
Ramai. Nanti insya Allah kita akan ada lagi platform-platform dari ProAksi series ini yang lain nanti akan ada. Baik, terima kasih juga kepada para dosen-dosen yang hadir sudah pada hari ini dan juga dari anak-anak mahasiswa yang kami banggakan. Maaf tadi di awal saya lupa menyapa kalian semua. Ya, maaf. Dengan demikian maka berakhirlah sesi kita hari ini ya, yang luar biasa ya, keren sekali, materinya juga luar biasa. Kami pamit mundur dengan mengucapkan alhamdulillah subhanallah wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, salam sejahtera. Terima kasih sudah join bersama kita di sesi ini dan kami kembali ke Ibu Maihana. Silakan, Bu.
Terima kasih kepada Bapak Sambasadi Kesuma. Sampailah kita pada penghujung acara. Terima kasih banyak kepada Ibu Dr. Norshamshina Mat Isa yang telah menyampaikan materi yang sangat bermanfaat sekali, dan kepada Bapak Sambasadi Kesuma PhD AKCA yang telah membantu acara ProAksi Talks Series XV pada pagi hari ini. Dan sekali lagi kami ucapkan terima kasih kepada seluruh hadirin yang telah hadir dalam acara ProAksi Talks Series 15. Semoga sehat selalu, semangat selalu untuk kemajuan pendidikan, dan sampai jumpa. Sebelum menutup acara, kita akan melaksanakan foto bersama untuk para hadirin. Silakan
penyerahan sertifikat.
Oh ya, oke, baik Pak. Baik, sebelum memulai foto sesi bersama, saya akan menyerahkan sertifikat kepada Ibu Norshamshina Mat Isa sebagai keynote speaker kita pada pagi hari ini. Bentar. Berikut penyerahan sertifikat kepada Ibu Norshamshina Mat Isa.
Terima kasih.
Baik, kita masuk sesi foto bersama. Untuk para peserta, silakan untuk dapat mengaktifkan kameranya. Alisa yang ambil, Alisa.
Ya, Alisa ya, Lis.
Ya, Bapak.
Oke. Silakan dipandu, Lis.
Oke. 1, 2, 3. Slide selanjutnya 1, 2, 3. Oke, terima kasih Bapak Ibu.
Terima kasih Alisa.
Ya, terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih banyak kepada Ibu Norshamshina dan kepada para hadirin. Sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih. Sampai jumpa kembali di acara Pro Series Talk.
Terima kasih Bu Maihana, Dr.
sama-sama.
Presenti dan semua dosen-dosen, anak-anak. InsyaAllah ada rezeki kita jumpa nanti di sana.
Amin.
Insyaallah.
Oke, assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih, Dokter. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.